brother. What's up?
This is a
Hey, how
good
you doing?
recording, man.
Yeah,
I
brother.
can dig it.
Solid. Right on.
Hey, man, what's your name?
Sweet Gates.
Under Article 1 of the U.S. Constitution, citizenship means that all persons born and naturalized in the U.S. and subject to the jurisdiction thereof are citizens of the U.S. and the state wherein they reside. In my opinion, being an American citizen means that I am able to live free under the Constitution. I'm afforded the same rights with no favoritism as my brother and sister that obtains a lighter skin color next to me. With the Equal Rights Act of 1964, racial profiling should have no room to take place. There are many U.S. citizens that are subject to being racially profiled every day through our justice system. Even though we may see blacks being racially profiled throughout the media the most, it's also true that we are not the only ethnic group subject to being victimized by this horrible crime. Who knows who will be next? Will it be you?
Racial profiling is not a new thing, just a revised term. In 1920, Hitler presented a 25-point program to the Nazi Platform Party, where members publicly declared to segregate Jews from Aryan society, to strip Jews politically, legally, and of all civil rights.
How many times are Arabs going to be randomly selected for a search in the U.S. airport? The message that's really being sent is, oh, we suspect that you may be a part of a terrorist group because of your beliefs. You can't condemn a whole ethnic group because of the acts of a few.
Targeting people because of what they look like is discrimination and a poor excuse of law enforcement. Aren't they paid to serve and protect? Racial profiling is racism. It is approval from our top authorities to harass and violate the rights of Americans based on race, national origin, or religion. Mapping a community based on racist stereotypes. Law enforcement agencies are prohibited from working with state and local enforcement agencies receiving federal funding that do not have profiling policies in line with the guidance. This sends the ill-conceived message that our government views prejudice as acceptable, said a statement made by a coalition of 10 civil rights and human groups. The use of racial profiling is un-American, and it often leads to the violation of the Fourth Amendment right. Overshadowed by exclusion rules, this leads to a violation of the Fifth Amendment disregard. Shouldn't FBI and other law enforcement agencies be focusing on actual crime suspects and national security threats, not targeting entire communities based on race, ethnicity, national origin, or religion? Casting a large net over entire racial or ethnic groups instead of focusing on evidence and clues of specific behavior, law enforcement wastes time and resources. It also runs the risk of breaking trust in alienating communities who could possibly be helpful allies in building partnerships, solving cases, and fighting real crimes in those communities as well as abroad. Racial and other profiling permitted on one context will inevitably bleed into others.
How many times will black people be pulled over on the side of the road by police because you know how fast you were driving, when the real reason is because you were driving while black? How many more times are we going to let those people who are supposed to protect and serve us strip us from the opportunity of our Sixth Amendment right of having a fair trial? Is our black skin a death sentence by default in the U.S.? When black parents in the U.S. find out that they are having a baby boy, should they just abort him to save him from being persecuted, racially profiled, or even gunned down in the street like a rabid dog? Will our black men be safer in prisons rather than the city streets of the U.S.? That's the question that stands today.